Two tails, one head, yin yang. 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 Two heads, one tail, yang yin. Two heads, one tail, yang yin. start by reading a brief passage from Vitality, Energy, Spirit, a Taoist sourcebook. This comprehensive anthology traces the teaching on the three treasures, vitality, energy, and spirit, through the long history of Taoism. Along with brief selections from the classic texts of Lao Tzu and Chuang Tzu, the book presents a rich selection of tales and sayings from Taoist literature, as well as a broad range of writings from the Complete Reality School. Commentary on Ancestor Lu's 100-character tablet. The text. Nurturing energy. Forget words and guard it. Conquer the mind. Do non-doing. In activity and quietude, know the source progenitor. There is no thing. Whom else do you seek? Real constancy should respond to people. In responding to people, it is essential not to get confused. When you don't get confused, your nature is naturally stable. When your nature is stable, energy naturally returns. When energy returns, elixir spontaneously crystallizes in the pot pairing water and fire. Yin and yang arise, alternating over and over again, everywhere producing the sound of thunder. White clouds assemble on the summit. Sweet dew bathes the polar mountain. Having drunk the wine of longevity, you wander free. Who can know you? You sit and listen to the stringless tune. You clearly understand the mechanism of creation. The whole of these 20 verses is a ladder straight to heaven. Commentary. Nurturing energy, forget words and guard it. Practitioners should first nurture energy. The method of nurturing energy is in forgetting words and keeping unified. Forget words and energy is not dispersed. Keep unified and the spirit does not go away. The secret is to quietly hold the spirit steady. Conquer the mind. Do non-doing. Ordinarily, people's minds move and shift ceaselessly. If practitioners want to quiet down their minds, it is important to control their eyes. The eyes are the door of the mind and should be nearly closed. Use the mind on all things like a sword. Think of worldly things as of no benefit to you. Then both craving and irritation will disappear without any attempt to get rid of clinging. The secret is to look through the eyes at the nose. Look through the nose at the navel. Align above and below. Keep mind and breath on each other. Now keep your attention on the mysterious paths, and you can overcome thought. In activity and quietude, know the source progenitor. Activity and quietude are yin and yang. The source progenitor is the place where the body is born. Practitioners should know that prior to birth is the mysterious female. This is the place where the upper and lower parts of the body, the celestial and earthly parts of being, and all the psychological elements of human nature are all gathered together. This is made of the point of spiritual light that is prior to the separation of heaven and earth, and is what is called the absolute, or the great ultimate. This is the vague area below the heart and above the genitals where thoughts ceaselessly arise. This is the source progenitor, or progenitor of the clan. In this context, activity and quietude mean tuning and harmonizing of the true breath, or true energy, and securely aligning the truly fundamental in its proper position in your life. It is said that when you breathe out, you contact the root of heaven and experience a sense of openness. And when you breathe in, you contact the root of earth and experience a sense of solidity. Breathing out is associated with the fluidity of the dragon. Breathing in is associated with the strength of the tiger. As you go on breathing in this frame of mind with these associations, alternating between movement and stillness, it is important that the focus of your mind does not shift. Let the true breath come and go, a subtle continuum on the brink of existence. Tune the breathing until you get breath without breathing. Become one with it, and then the spirit can be solidified and the elixir can be made. There is no thing. Whom else do you seek? If you can nurture energy, forget words, and conquer body and mind, spirit returns to the layer of energy. The attention focuses on the center of the compass, merged with unified energy like a hen sitting on her eggs, like a dragon nurturing a pearl. Keep your mind on this all the time, without a moment's distraction, and after a long time, when the work becomes deep, there naturally appears a tiny pearl that shines like the sun, silently turning into the light of awareness of the original spirit, beyond conceptual measurement. Real constancy should respond to people. In responding to people, it is essential not to get confused. This Tao is the way of real constancy and true eternity. It is easy to get confused by things when dealing with situations, so when you come in contact with people, it will not do to get confused by what happens. If you do not respond to people, then you are empty and silent, an open absence. When they come to you, you ought to respond, then let the thing pass when it's past. Be clear, upright, and magnanimous, and you won't be confused. Your true nature will then be clear and serene, while your original spirit will solidify and crystallize. The secret is to pay attention everywhere you mistake non-doing and fall into vacuity. When you don't get confused, your nature is naturally stable. When your nature is stable, energy naturally returns. Ordinary people's natures are fiery, emotional, exaggerated, one way or another, inconstant. Any sort of stimulus will activate random mental images in them, so it is hard to quiet their natures. It is necessary to be truly careful of anger and be truly sparing with desire. Physical calm is called refining vitality. Refine your vitality and the tiger hisses. The original spirit solidifies. Mental calm is called refining energy. Refine your energy and the dragon sings. the original energy remains safeguarded. Steadiness of attention is called refining spirit. Refine your spirit and the two energies combine, the three originals merge, and the original energy spontaneously returns. The three originals are original vitality, energy, and spirit. The two energies are yin and yang. When you deal with people without confusion, then the original spirit naturally returns and the fundamental nature is there of itself. When our fundamental nature as conscious beings is present, then the primal energy in the body naturally returns. Then it is not hard to return to life, go back to the root. The secret is to turn the attention around, to illumine the source of consciousness, the whole unified mind remaining within, inward thoughts not coming out, outward thoughts not coming in. When energy returns, elixir spontaneously crystallizes in the pot, pairing water and fire. When practitioners are not confused by objects and events, then energy naturally returns. Thereby they see the two energies rising and descending in the center of their bodies, yin and yang pairing in the alchemical crucible. Suddenly they feel a thread of hot energy in their genitals rising up into the heart. Sense comes back to the essence of consciousness, like husband and wife joining in blissful rapture. The two energies interact to form the substance of the elixir. Water and fire mix in the layer of energy. The cycle goes on and on so that the spirit drives the energy and the energy maintains the body. Then one does not need a variety of exercises or arts to live long naturally. The secret is that the three treasures, ears, eyes, and mouth, be closed off and not allowed to exercise their powers. Real people dive deep into the abyss and travel floating, keeping within the compass. Do this until the energy in the elixir field is full, and this forms the medicinal spoon, the linkage between the macrocosm and microcosm. Yin and yang arise, alternating over and over again, everywhere producing the sound of thunder. When the work gets to this point, the spirit does not run outside, the energy does not leak out. The spirit returns to the layer of energy. Water and fire have already mixed. Increase the intensity of your effort to reach the ultimate of emptiness, and keep careful tranquility. Then the body is peaceful in the middle of unfathomable darkness. The mind is clear in the homeland of nothing whatsoever. Then the true breath spontaneously stills. All the body's nerve channels spontaneously stop. Sun and moon halt. The stars do not revolve in the sky. At the extreme limit, stillness gives rise to movement. Suddenly, there is a point of spiritual light the size of a grain of rice. This is the indication of the production of the medicine. A blazing light passes through the kidneys like boiling water. The bladder is like fire burning. In the belly there are sounds like a roaring gale and pealing thunder. This is represented by the I-ming sign return, and is when the root of heaven appears. When the root of heaven appears, it stabilizes mastery of mind. Help this with the spirit, and the energy is like fire applied to metal, passing up through the coccyx. Lightly convey the energy, silently raise it, a ball of gentle energy like the reverberation of thunder, bringing it up to the center of the brain, whence it spurts out all over the body. This is represented by the I-ming sign meeting. From the moon cave, which is the cessation of intense effort when the energy has filled the brain to the forehead and center of the brows, there leaks light from the origin of being. Then at the extreme limit, movement gives rise to yin, which has transformed into a psychic water, like a sweet dew. Inside one, there is the pearl of spiritual awareness, which has settled in the yellow courtyard in the center of the self, transmuting mercurial consciousness so that it becomes stable, characteristic of the sage. Go through the developmental process of the whole cycle once, purifying and refining consciousness, and the elixir will naturally crystallize. White clouds assemble on the summit. Sweet dew bathes the polar mountain. When you get to this stage, the medicine has been obtained. The two energies interlock to form the medicinal spoon, which is the unification of higher and lower wills, and the nerve centers and synapses of the body and brain open up. Fire descends, water rises, and unified energy circulates all over. From within the extreme limit, Tai Chi, it stirs the root of heaven, passes the dark valley pass, rises up through the vertebrae until it reaches the pass of the valley of heaven. In the moon cave, yin is born, fragrant, sweet, delicious. It goes down the multi-storied tower without stopping. This is called sweet dew bathing the polar mountain. The secret is when the mouth is filled with saliva after a period of stillness followed by rising and circulating of energy. Visualize the saliva as sweet dew or ambrosia, what the Buddhists call the elixir of immortality, and as you swallow it, mentally send it down into the alchemical cauldron where it solidifies the original energy and thus nurtures it. Having drunk the wine of longevity, you wander free. Who can know you? When development of energy reaches this degree, the bone joints are already open, and the spiritual water ceaselessly circulates up and down, flowing all around, coming and going without stopping, taking it in time and again. It is called the wine of longevity. The secret is that the flowing pearl, the essence of consciousness, bathes and nurtures the spiritual nature. People who practice this know unknowing. You sit and listen to the stringless tune. You clearly understand the mechanism of creation. When your work reaches here, you hear the sound of the music of the immortals. And there are also the tones of bells and drums. The five energies assemble at the source. The three flowers gather on the peak. That means the true sense of real knowledge of the true essence of consciousness is present in the will, and the vitality, energy, and spirit have been refined and united. It is a state like when a raven comes to roost in the evening. The mind field is open and clear. Knowledge and wisdom spontaneously grow, and one clearly understands the writings of the three teachings, tacitly realizes one's roots in former lives, foreknows what bodes good and ill for the future. The whole world is as though in one's palm. You see for myriad miles and have the subtle psychic faculties available to complete human beings. This is real being. The bottom trigram of our hexagram is solid, 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 which is Qian, heaven. Qian is suprahuman cosmic law. Enduring, he determines the nature and development of all things, from the movement of the stars to the cycle of the seasons, to causing each individual seed to grow into its own kind of plant. Heaven is creativity in its pure form, the force that drives change and what endures within it. He confronts us with truth and what it demands, both as the absolute law of nature and as the challenge of individual calling, experienced as an inner law. He is both the awareness of what to do and how to be, and also the power to act on it. Heaven is Father, found in the northwest, the realm between autumn and winter, when the buds set and seeds fall to earth. Our top or outer trigram is solid, broken, broken, which I believe is Zen thunder. Yeah. Thunder is shock, upheaval, and the spark of the new. In old Chinese belief, thunder slept in the earth over winter and erupted from it in spring, awakening living things into new growth. Thunder is our basic drive for renewal. He inspires initiative and decisive action. He is the stimulus that sets things in motion. He is the eldest son in the trigram family, the first connection of heaven, potential, with earth, realization. Yang makes itself known here, emerging into the field and beginning to grow. Thunder belongs to the east and to spring. That means we will have Zen or thunder above Qian or heaven, which will give us hexagram 34. We'll be reading from the Taoist I-ming, written by I-ming in 1796. He was a Taoist adept, and Thomas Cleary has translated it. Did I not write the hexagram number? I thought I said 34. I did. Great power. Promoting vigorous positive energy, ability to act or not act at will, transcendence of ordinary capacities. Because we didn't get any changing lines, that being either an old yang line of 3 heads or a young, or an old yin line of 3 tails, we don't get a supporting hexagram, which emphasizes strongly the hexagram that we did get. Oftentimes you will get a primary hexagram and a supporting hexagram. In this case, it's like bold lined. We don't have changing lines or anything, so we're going to really focus in on what this one hexagram says to us. great power, promoting vigorous positive energy, ability to act or not act at will, transcendence of ordinary capacities. Great power. Hexagram 34, great power. Great power is beneficial when correct. Explanation. Great power means yang energy is strong and vigorous. As for the qualities of the hexagram, above is thunder, active, and below is heaven, strong. Strong within, effective in action, strong action does not cease, therefore it is called great power. This hexagram represents advancement of the vigorous energy of yang. It follows on the previous hexagram, constancy. Constancy is the achievement of perseverance in the path. Perseverance in the path means strong practice in the body, with the mind firm and stable and the will far-reaching, never turning back for even a moment, reaching deeply into self-realization. This is possible only for people of great power. People of great power have extraordinary direction in life. They observe all things with detachment and may let them go or take them up. Having powerful will, they can carry out powerful affairs, do what others cannot do, be what others cannot be. Transcending the ordinary and entering into sagehood, they do what is rare in the world. Like a movement of thunder rising from earth to the sky, they startle the ignorant and amaze the worldly, shaking up all. However, the path of great power calls for power to be correct. If it is not correct, power is not great, and its application is not beneficial. The people in the world who follow deviated paths, whether they cling to voidness or stick to forms, taking the artificial to be real, and do not fear danger and trouble, sometimes never changing all their lives, are indeed powerful, but their power is not correct. Not only is their vigor unable to be great, but they even harm life by power. Then what is the value of power? So the path of great power is only beneficial when it is correct. Correct means correctly oriented, reasonably ordered. Orderly power means one has inner autonomy and self-control, and the will is upright and correctly oriented, while outwardly one does not act arbitrarily, and so one's conduct is upright. When the will is correct, one is firm and strong and irrepressible. Unmoved by myriad things, one is inwardly vigorous and powerful. When action is correct, it is effective and decisive. Able to accomplish tasks, one is outwardly vigorous and powerful. Will makes action firm, action makes will complete. Cultivating the inner and the outer at once, even those without power can become powerful, and the powerful can become great. There is no limit to the benefits of power applied correctly. That was the text. Now we will read the commentary. 34, great power. Thunder above, heaven below. Thunder is up in the sky with great power. Thus do superior people refrain from what is improper. Great power means expansion of empowerment. Above is thunder, below is heaven. This is thunder up in the sky. Thunder is something strong and intense. Its energy is very powerful. When it climbs up in the sky, startling all with its vibration, its powerful energy expands even more. This is the image of great power. What superior people see in this is that just as when thunder ascends into the sky in season, it can thus vivify beings, so can people develop character when they carry out their activities according to reason. Therefore, superior people refrain from whatever is improper. Propriety means the moderation of activity and repose, the ordering of engagement and disengagement, guiding self-cultivation and social relations. When ordinary people follow their impulses and do whatever comes to mind, perhaps greedily pursuing idle imaginations, indulging in emotions, and giving free rein to desire, this is all improper. Doing what is improper is not conducive to growth or empowerment. Even if one becomes powerful, this is power that abandons the real and enters the false, empowering that which should not be powerful. This is really not power. If one can avoid looking at what should not be looked at, avoid listening to what should not be listened to, avoid saying what should not be said, avoid doing what should not be done, act properly and refrain from what is improper, then whatever one does is proper. Propriety is reason. Reason is celestial. If one puts celestial reason into practice, human desires do not arise. Then every step one takes is in accord with the sublime Tao. One is then a companion of heaven, with the same achievement as thunder. Dwelling in the midst of the elements, one is not constrained by the elements. Living among myriad things, one is not harmed by the myriad things. Is that power not great? To see what James Dekorne says and the various cited commentaries about Hexagram 34. He also calls it great power. Other titles might be the power of the great, the symbol of great vigor, persons of great authority, great strength, great invigorating, great maturity, accumulated force, the strength of the mighty, righteous power, excessive force. The question we bring to the I Ching when we consult the oracle will have the general context of how can I act in creative relation with the spirits or forces shaping this moment of time. Leg, in the judgment, great power necessitates firm correctness. Wilhelm/Baines, the power of the great, perseverance furthers. Blowfold, the power of the great, persistence in a righteous course brings reward. This hexagram with a solid group of firm lines topped by a small number of yielding lines obviously signifies strength. In this case, the power to succeed in spite of difficulties. Much of what follows concerns goats, a symbol presumably suggested by the form of the hexagram, namely a solid body distinguished by a pair of horns, the yielding lines at the top. Ritsuma/Karcher, great invigorating, harvesting trial. This hexagram describes your situation in terms of the invigorating power of a central creative idea. It emphasizes that animating everything around you through this guiding motivation is the adequate way to handle it. To be in accord with the time, you are told to invigorate through the great. Wu, great strength, indicates that it is advantageous to be persevering. The image, leg. The image of thunder over heaven forms the hexagram of great power. The superior man, in accordance with this, does not take one step that is not in accordance with propriety. Wilhelm/Baines, thunder in heaven above, the image of the power of the great. Thus, the superior man does not tread upon paths that do not accord with established order. Blowfold. This hexagram symbolizes thunder in the sky. The superior man never takes a step involving impropriety. Note, the combination of trigrams meaning thunder and sky suggests something of the awe-inspiring quality of the truly great. Ritsuma/Karcher, thunder located above heaven, great invigorating. A chunsu, or chief son, or superior person, uses no codes whatever, nowhere treading. Wu, there is thunder above heaven. This is great strength. Thus the junsi does not practice what is not proper. Again, chief son or superior person. In the commentary, Confucius/Leg, in great power we see that which is great becoming strong. The trigram of strength directs the trigram of movement, and hence the whole is expressive of vigor. But that which is great necessitates firm correctness. The attributes of heaven and earth are displayed when firmness and correctness attain their ideal state. Leg, because the dynamic lines predominate in great power, the figure suggests a state in which there is an abundance of strength and vigor. Is strength alone enough for the conduct of affairs? Of course not. Strength must always be subordinated to the idea of right, and exerted only in harmony with it. The lower trigram symbolizes strength, the upper symbolizes movement. In the Confucian commentary, that which is great denotes the group of 4 dynamic lines which strikes us on looking at the figure, and also the superior men in positions of power, of whom these are the representatives. That the attributes of heaven and earth are displayed means that the power of men should be a reflection of the great power which we see impartially working in nature. Zheng Tzu says on the image, thunder rolling in the sky and making all things shake is the symbol of great power. In relating its application to man, he quotes a beautiful saying of antiquity. The strong man is he who overcomes himself. Notes and paraphrases. Judgment. Control yourself. The superior man does nothing that is not in accordance with the principles of the work. Wilhelm and Blofeld translate this hexagram as the power of the great, but I prefer Liu's rendition of great power because it has a more neutral connotation. The power of the great suggests the might of kings and emperors and implies superior power wielded at one's own discretion. It is too easy to misinterpret this hexagram as a clear injunction to take unilateral action. Such is seldom the case. The hexagram depicts a charge of latent energy which must be properly managed. The figure is usually compared with the image of a ram or goat, the 4 lower dynamic lines being the body and the 2 upper magnetic lines representing the horns. Since this hexagram is the preceding figure of retreat, turned upside down, one can imagine the 2 together as a person retreating across a pasture pursued by a charging beast. The ram/goat is mentioned in 4 of the 6 lines of the hexagram. This is certainly great power, but in such a crude form, it cannot be truthfully called the power of the great. Truly great power, as the judgment tells us, is derived from our will to restrain our emotions, instincts, and appetites. Note that lines 2 and 4 are the most positively forceful lines in the hexagram, and that both imply restraint of power as the proper way to attain one's goals. Without changing lines, the hexagram sometimes refers to provocations in which one is legitimately tempted to a self-righteous display of power. Remember that other people's ego trips are none of your concern. The superior man does not respond to them with other than dignified reserve. Regard it as a test and be joyful if you pass it. A quote from Aryeh Kaplan in Jewish Meditation. Everything found in later literature seems to indicate that these meditative schools required a strong discipline and faithful adherence to a strict regimen. The schools were extremely demanding and were open only to those willing to devote themselves totally. Before even being admitted to one of these ancient meditative schools, a person had to be not only spiritually advanced, but in complete control of all his emotions and feelings. Beyond that, the disciplines of the Torah and commandments were central to these schools, and these disciplines required a degree of self-mastery to which not everyone could aspire. Hilary Barrett calls Hexagram 34 great vigor. Key questions. How will you use your power? Where do you stand? Oracle. Great vigor. Constancy bears fruit. With great vigor you stand upright and robust, full of resilient energy. You are inspired and animated by strong purpose and ready to wield your strength like a hero. For this to yield results, you will need to act with steadiness and consistency, standing in your strength, but without mistaking it for omnipotence. Image. Thunder dwells above heaven, great vigor. A noble one treads no path that is without ritual. The action of thunder rests on the underlying principles of heaven. The noble one, acting with great vigor, will not be improvising and adapting as he goes along. Such great energy needs better guidance if it is to avoid injury. He follows ritual. That is, he acts in ways that observe the principles of creation and follows their patterns. It is not so much a matter of respecting the rules for their own sake as of respecting what is known to work, because it is in harmony with the nature of things. Sequence. Great vigor follows from Hexagram 33, retreat. Things cannot end with retreat, and so great vigor follows. In retreat, you withdraw to preserve your integrity and strength, but when you are strong, you cannot stay invisible forever. Instead of withdrawing, you stand firm. Chapters 36, 26, 2, and 32 out of the Tao Te Ching. Mine is translated by Jia Fu Fang and Jane English and is falling apart. That which shrinks must first expand. That which fails must first be strong. That which is cast down must first be raised. Before receiving, there must be giving. This is called perception of the nature of things. Soft and weak overcome hard and strong. Fish cannot leave deep waters, and a country's weapons should not be displayed. The heavy is the root of the light. The still is the master of unrest. Therefore the sage, traveling all day, does not lose sight of his baggage. Though there are beautiful things to be seen, he remains unattached and calm. Why should the Lord of 10,000 chariots act lightly in public? To be light is to lose one's root. To be restless is to lose one's control. Chapter 2. Under heaven, all can see beauty as beauty only because there is ugliness. All can know good as good only because there is evil. Therefore, having and not having arise together. Difficult and easy complement each other. Long and short contrast each other. High and low rest upon each other. Voice and sound harmonize each other. Front and back follow one another. Therefore, the sage goes about doing nothing, teaching no talking. The 10,000 things rise and fall without cease. Creating, yet not possessing. Working, yet not taking credit. Work is done, then forgotten. Therefore it lasts forever. Chapter 32. The Tao is forever undefined. Small though it is in the unformed state, it cannot be grasped. If kings and lords could harness it, the 10,000 things would naturally obey. Heaven and earth would come together, and gentle rain would fall. Men would need no more instruction, and all things would take their course. Once the whole is divided, the parts need names. There are already enough names. One must know when to stop. Knowing when to stop averts trouble. Tao in the world is like a river flowing home to the sea.